Welcome everyone to What the Force, and welcome to a new episode of Clone Wars Special Report covering Together Again, Season 7, Episode 8. And I'm Marie Claire Gould, your host, and with me, as always for these episodes, is Kyle Gould.
Misa liking these.
This is your second Gungan.
I like Boss Nass. I like the Phantom Menace. So
no, it's good. I love it. That was really good. That was a really good Boss Nass.
Oh, thank you.
It was a Boss Nass.
Super boss. It was a boss Nass.
It was a boss Nass. Yeah. All right, let's kick this off with our fortune cookie moral of the episode being:
you can change who you are, but you cannot run from yourself.
Okay. Thank you, fortune cookie. Perhaps the most fortune cookie of these that we've got so far.
It's not prophetic at all.
No, but no, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just like, you know.
Okay, well, and we're going to do a true fortune cookie, then it needs to be, you can change who you are, but you cannot run from yourself in bed.
We should have done this a long time ago. This would have been hilarious.
Right? Like that is the proper thing you do with fortune cookies, is you add in bed at the end of the fortune cookie. Who's going to run from themselves in bed?
Oh no, we've already started this way. Okay. So
sure.
What do you think of the blue morality lesson for this episode?
From the fortune cookie?
Yeah.
I think you need a harder mattress, really. Sorry, no. In all seriousness, it's speaking to mostly Rafa and Ahsoka in this.
Yeah.
Principally, I think that this applies to Ahsoka. But then it really applies to the Pike leader as well.
Poor Pike leader.
He's so caught in a rock in a Maul place.
Yeah. As you do when you deal with Maul.
Yes. Or as you do when you're an evil person and you do illicit and illegal things.
Certainly. Yeah. And Rafa, yes, Rafa seems to have some really interesting things that happen in this episode, but also Trace fully kind of comes into her own in this episode, and I can't wait to talk about that.
Trace came into her own last episode, and she got less this episode than Rafa did.
It was all connected with the Silver Angel and what she did when she was piloting the ship and being brave and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to get into the kind of those scenes.
Yeah, sure, let's do it. But first, we need to start in prison.
Again, back at the beginning again, right? Yes.
Yeah, they must have engravings for the number of minutes they spent in these prison cells. It's just a holding area for them.
And they escaped twice. Wouldn't that cause them to worry?
You would think that they would have put them somewhere more secure, or have at least put a regular guard on.
Yeah, it's you guys got out before,
from this exact prison.
Maybe we shouldn't put you back into the same cell.
But I think the leader of the Pikes, Krim?
Fife?
Yeah, Mark, Krim, and Fife are the two names.
Yeah, we don't know which is which.
Yeah. Anyway, the boss of the Pikes, I think he's just putting them there because he's it's just such good TV. I think he has a camera in the cell.
It's framed
he's watching these heart-to-hearts that are happening.
It's really, this is for his reality TV show.
Yeah. He gets such great character development from these three women who he thought they were all together.
And he's like, you know what? This is the equivalent of the real world, but Pike's World.
Yes, exactly. Pike's World sounds like such a great reality TV show. So we get scene 1 where they're in prison. It's Trace, Ahsoka against Rafa initially. And Rafa's not happy about this because Rafa was used to it being Trace and her, and Trace just basically following along with whatever the plan is that Rafa had set. But the plan is established by Ahsoka this time, and the plan's called Trust Ahsoka.
Yeah, trust me.
Yeah.
It's get help, but trust me.
And who did she learn that from? Hey, who else has constantly her entire life said, trust me.
Anakin?
All the time.
Right? Yeah.
We should just have drinking games where we drink the entire shot every time Anakin says, trust me, to Ahsoka. And then she always doubts him, and he always comes out to be correct in the end, one way or another.
I appreciated the amount of nonverbal communication that Ahsoka and Rafa had seemed to develop over the course of them fighting for the last 3 episodes.
Absolutely. That the animation, especially in regards to body posture, arched eyebrows, little things that they can do now that they never could do before, is just amazing. And I have to give it to the woman who voices Rafa, because her dialogue is just perfect. I emoted with Rafa every single moment, and her lines were just delivered with this true sincerity that I felt like I was seeing that character. Especially when she first started, I didn't really connect with that character very well. I really connect with Rafa.
Yeah. We had a really good recap of actually the full arc in the, narrator voiceover, and it kind of showed very well how far these characters have gone. And I feel like this is one of the best arcs that they've had in the show. It's really, really solid from setting up complex issues and questions about, can you go home again? And that's where we leave off. It's really this question of like, who I am, where am I going? And even if my journey leads me back to what I know, am I going to be the same person that I was? And I really appreciated the fact that it dealt with so many gray questions that, there isn't necessarily a right or a wrong answer. Like, we don't want to let criminals go, but we also don't want to kill bystanders. But sometimes this happens. So what is the right answer? And it doesn't necessarily answer them for the audience. It poses them in such a way that you have to actually kind of think about it for yourself, which I think good Star Wars does. It doesn't necessarily tell you what's right and wrong. It allows you to question things for yourself.
Yes. And if you can't, just dump the spice and run.
Just dump the spice and run. Yes.
So we move from the prison into Boss Pike's audience chamber, which is totally an audience chamber. He has a little throne seat all on his own. Everybody stands around him.
Thrones are like super in right now.
And then I've been watching each of these episodes 2 times. So I'm pretty familiar with this entire arc as it's gone.
Yeah.
And I remember that when they went to Kessel to get, I've been watching them twice, but I still can't tell the difference between Fife and Krim.
I think Fife had higher billing, so I'm going to guess.
Fife is the leader.
But then, the leader.
If Fife's the leader, why does the other guy get 2 names?
He's like Madonna, so he's more important because he only has 1 name. He's the Pope, Madonna, and...
It's not just alphabetical?
No, it's not.
Because they got higher billing than the Martez sisters down below.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Anyway.
So did Maul.
All that to the side.
Yeah.
They mention right here and now that it was a rather large spice shipment that they lost. And yet, the first episode, the major domo to the king, he's like, this is just a small shipment for your tiny ship. Like, how has it grown in size and scale?
Well, maybe it's tiny for what they normally deal with, especially to do with medical facilities or other people. And the Pikes are actually a small group within... I'm trying to justify it. I don't know.
Anyway, it just seemed like the only internal error I could see, and it just
is how they're talking about the spice. Yeah,
exactly. Like it's a rather large. I thought it was just 3 containers of spice. Wasn't that big a deal? But turns out it is a big deal because if they don't get this back,
Maul is going to kill them.
Your Pike's in trouble.
Yeah. So. Plan executed. Rafa goes along with it. Trace is super upset.
But they still know it's another deception.
Yes.
The Pikes are so smart. They're like, they're lying to us again, boss. Yep, I know. But what can we do? And then you start to see, oh my God, all along he's been playing them. He just wants his spice back.
Yes. It's like,
because he's in trouble. If he kills them, if he imprisons them forever, he's fine with letting them escape so he can follow them and see where they go to the spice.
yeah.
That didn't happen. All right, let them escape again and we'll see what happens this time.
Yeah.
I guess we'll take them up on their crazy kill my family later offer. I just feel so bad for them.
Like, the Pikes seem to be like the biochemistry, like Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, like they're definitely like the smart versions. They're like, we're in with a bad crowd and we will all lose our kneecaps.
It's going to go down for us. We just needed to take this unrefined spice and refine it. And we can't even do that because we have 3 women ruining our lives.
As women will do, I suppose.
It is interesting that they're all dudes. Maybe there's only one sex for Pikes. I don't know, but...
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a female Pike.
Yeah, they all had masculine voices too, so I wasn't too sure. But nonetheless, I really like them.
Yeah, I like the Pikes too. I want to see more Pikes. More Pikes. Justice for the Pikes.
Yep. I think that they're a fun species.
Yeah.
So, but anyway... They accept this deception and let the Martez sisters leave. So we enter scene 3 with a real quick one with the Martez sisters leaving and the Mandalorians watching and Trace revealing just how truly young she is. She's like, I can't believe Ahsoka would turn on us like that. We don't even have a family.
People so yeah. Yeah, like people were like telling me that they thought Trace and Rafa were in their 20s. Yeah, but like I don't get that impression with Trace. I really don't. Like she's definitely written as a teenager. Or inexperienced in the world, which does not seem to align with her background of having to deal with scum and villainy in the underworld of Coruscant.
How much real difference is there between a 17-year-old and a 25-year-old anyway?
I think there's a significant amount of growth that happens in that period of time.
So. I think that
Are you looking back on your own life and being like, huh?
I'm just looking back on a lot of our 17 to 25-year-old friends we've had through the years and how comparable they all have been to each other with a few ridiculous exceptions.
Yeah, the people that are like, oh, I'm a model, and then I go and become a person with like a 6-figure.
Or, oh, I'm an engineer, and I have my savings plan set for when I'm 65, and I put 15% away of my salary a year and all of my bonus.
When you're 22? Yeah, there's some... weird.
We have some successful friends. They've definitely put us to shame.
Yeah.
I'm glad they don't listen to this.
One of them does.
True. But the Mandalorians are watching.
Yes.
I feel like that's a great thing. To just, hey, look, careful what you do.
The Mandalorians are watching. They're interested in knowing what you're plotting. So Bo-Katan and we have Ursa Wren again, and third unnamed, unspoken, no spoken lines, third person.
Yeah, I haven't seen the script, so I don't know. That first episode, I thought all 3 had spoken. But
only 2 were credited, and if the third one spoke, it's definitely the armorer, Emily Swallow. Just saying. If not, well... so they are trying to figure out what's going on. I still don't understand why they're on that planet. And maybe that'll be revealed in these future episodes that are obviously going to center around the Mandalorians, etc. But like, what is the purpose of... What is Bo's plan hanging out on the Pike world? Is she just observing? Is she gathering information? Is she trying to understand how deep the Maul rabbit hole leads? I don't know that yet. It's not entirely clear other than plot device.
Yeah, this is foreshadowing for our next arc.
Yeah, I know. And that's
Which is so interesting because they never wrote Clone Wars to be like this.
No, and it's...
Clone Wars was supposed to be each episode stands on its own with very few exceptions.
Well, they would do back-to-back episodes,
yes,
right? Or 3 or 4 episodes in a row, like the Mortis arc. Or eventually they got to a point where it was non-linear and they would go back in time and forward in time, and then you could watch them all together and be like, this is what was happening.
Yeah.
But given the opportunity... telling a linear story is easier.
Well, it keeps your attention. You're driven to come
more
back
invested
next week. Find out what happens. They're back in prison again.
Yes. And they've been doing it for a while now with Resistance and with Rebels, telling this very linear story. And it seems like these 8 episodes will be Ahsoka centric, which is good too.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we have left the planet. Trace finds out the sacrifice that Ahsoka has made on their behalf, and we get scene 4. Ahsoka breaks out. That's literally it's a 15-second scene. She makes the buttons click and she leaves.
Yeah,
but it's a relevant thing because she breaks out. Like I don't know necessarily why they felt the need to include it, but I think they were just trying to cycle back between the 2 storylines we now have going on.
Well, to understand Ahsoka is a capable person on her own.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it also separates and allows us to now go into scene 5. We're back on 1313. We've landed, which was such a cool arrival. The descent into Coruscant, going down the whole of 1313, docking the ship back at the garage. You see Trash Bike on the table still, which is a play to later on.
Yeah.
And they're back at that diner on the beach.
Yeah, and just having the conversation. Yeah. I liked about this that no matter kind of the internal, growth that Rafa might have gone through, her whole reasons is to get one over on Ahsoka to save her. Like it's so well done. Like it's just like that character consistency. I appreciate it so much because you can do things for the right reason, but you're still going to be yourself.
Yeah.
Back to our fortune cookie.
Exactly. And Trace says, you're going back to help her to one up her.
It's beautiful.
But I will say it had one of my 2 favorite lines here on this entire episode. And that was when Rafa says, what she did back there, giving herself up for us, that's rare. You don't see that much.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yes, we do. Because this is Star Wars. And we see those sacrifices all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Yes. Luke.
Paige.
Well, no, specifically, somebody giving themselves up to save others.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker in Jabba's palace.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest, one that I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think of Paige Tico. That was my leap too as well.
Well, she's she just sacrifices her life to save all the people.
Those sorts of things, you don't see that much.
Except it's all the time in Star Wars, yeah.
Right. But it gives us such an important relevancy here because it's almost like it's the Jedi code, right? You give up yourself to save others, to protect others and whatnot. They're not used to seeing that, and that's rare for them.
Yeah. Well, and also the line, and we'll get to it when she actually goes and actually meets up with Ahsoka. It's I want to call it out because it is important. It's you're what the Jedi should be.
Yes.
Right? And to hear them say that out loud in this cartoon is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
It's calling into question kind of everything that people idealize about the Jedi.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And they don't see, or they only see them in the way that Trace and Rafa saw them, which was making hard choices that hurt people.
Yeah.
That did not seem to be well thought out or just chosen in the moment.
Or unfeeling to the feelings of others. You have to be a Force robot. You can't care about... You have to be unfeeling and uncompassionate to be compassionate to everybody.
Right.
That's not the point, I think. And that's what's coming out so strongly in this set of episodes.
Also, what's coming out strongly in this set of episodes is just how awesome thermal detonators are.
Yeah, seriously.
Because now we are at the point where we get this great, there's some great.
Well, so first she takes them, she finds them.
Yeah.
She opens up like the armory or whatever, and like it's like, I better take these. And I'm like, okay, so
I heard you laughing, just so you know.
Yeah. Like we tend to watch the episodes separately. We've been trying to, I think we should watch the last 4 since we're, in the times we were in together.
We'd have to spend time together.
I know, right? We tend to watch.
I don't know about this.
We tend to watch them separately, but she grabs the thermal detonators, is like, might as well do some good on my way out, and I'm like my brain literally froze. I laughed out loud, and I was like, did you just say blowing up like people who are bad is good? Oh no.
I don't know if she was saying I was going to blow up the people. She definitely seemed like she was going to take the place out because it does bad things.
But there is no way that she couldn't have casualties associated with blowing up a pike refining facility. Like,
one can hope.
I just like.
I agree. But nonetheless, we get what you thought was one of the funniest parts of the entire episode. Might as well do some good, she says, as she grabs up a bunch of thermal detonators.
I mean, it had big Sabine Wren energy. That's her way of doing good, but I was not like picturing Ahsoka ever saying those words, I
love her with a bandolier of grenades across her chest.
It was special. It was beautiful. It was just like, my brain didn't compute this change in her yet. Yeah. And it's interesting because she has literally become what is it when you make somebody an extremist? Like, this is something she never would have done.
Oh, okay.
As a Jedi.
Maybe?
I mean, okay, if it was Anakin's idea, she would have done it. But like on her own, I just don't know. She was always like, but she doesn't have her lightsabers. So it's like not, she can fight the same way that she used to. It just, to me, it really indicated a change from somebody who kind of fought with this like Knight's Code to somebody who's like, okay, I'm going to use guerrilla warfare, much like the rebels that she ends up helping make, become a thing. Yep. Like, she is one of the founding members as Fulcrum. So It's like, you can almost see like she's willing to do way more extreme things.
Yes.
Even in this episode.
Saw Gerrera learned a lot from her.
Oh my God.
Well, we move from this scene to one of my favorite scenes, which I call Getting Spice, because they land. And so now let's play the game. Marie Claire, who are the voice actors? We're introduced to 2 new voice actors. Yeah. One
I recognized immediately. I even
never heard.
Oh, well, the one that I had recognized immediately is the worker, who is Ben Quadranero's race. Toons. Okay, Marie Claire's.
That's okay.
Yeah. It's Josh Brenner.
Yes.
Who played Niku. And I was like, oh my God, Niku's in this episode. I recognized him immediately and I was very excited. I squeed. Josh Brenner, who most famously has been known for being on Silicon Valley as Big Head and in the Resistance cartoon as Niku.
It's lovely to see him come back. And he played all of the workers.
He was all of the workers?
He was all of them.
Oh my God. I just recognized him as the main one, but that's really funny. The main one was
the only one with any lines. The other ones all kind of go oofs and ahs and whatnot. But
so now in my head, he is Ben Quadranero's voice too.
The son of Ben Quadranero. Spice dock workers.
All I want is this fan fiction now.
It was such a good scene.
My dad used to be a pod racer. One day I'll get back on the track. It writes itself.
Yep. And then the other one,
who's the manager, and we had the I'd like to speak to your manager moment.
Yes. It was so good. Was performed by Tom Root.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Okay, so Tom Root came to fame and prominence as one of the main people behind Robot Chicken. and has been a voice actor on Robot Chicken for forever, but also one of the big producers of the Robot Chicken Star Wars episodes.
Right. So he's one of the voices with Seth Green, who also produces Robot Chicken. And Seth Green and him were behind Star Wars Detours, which never ended up happening.
I was going to segue into that later. Let's do that now. What is Star Wars Detours?
Okay, so I know all of the things behind Star Wars Detours. Star Wars Detours is a short animated 3D show that was created by Seth Green, and that was created by George Lucas too. Like, he was part of it, but it was really showrun by Seth Green.
Right, sure.
And it was like taking these Star Wars moments and making them absolutely ridiculous. You can actually still watch the trailer. They produced 36 episode. Oh, I thought it was.
It's okay. I have it written down.
They produced 39 episodes of this show, and they're shorts.
Yeah,
and they're locked in the Lucasfilm vault because they will never come to see the light of day.
Oh, really? Because what I was reading today is that it's back in production.
What?
So not.
It
confirmed.
Is so weird. It is. Go and watch the trailer for it. It is bananas weird. It's like an adult version of Star Wars Lego.
Yes. It's where they took all the crazy scenes and made them crazier in Star Wars.
Like and Robot George Chicken, but animated.
Loved it. It was set to come out.
And then the acquisition happened.
No. TFA happened. And they didn't want to mess things up for TFA.
Well, no, because like it was produced before the acquisition, and it was put on hold when the acquisition happened.
What I was reading was it was mostly because of TFA, because they did not want to take characters they were going to reintroduce in TFA and then have people who
muddy the waters.
Yeah, we'll also have like, this will be your first experience with Han Solo. This will be your first experience with Leia. Let's not make your first experience before you go see TFA be Detours, because that'll be the case for some people.
No, I can't wait to talk to my friend Alex about this, because like she and I have had like so many conversations about how weird it is.
I'm hopeful it's coming, and Tom Root being in this episode today, and
your conspiracy theory tinfoil
hats on for sure, because like he has never had anything to do with genuine Star Wars.
Okay, but it could be just like how we had the voices from troops in that episode of Mandalorian. Like they're playing homage to those people and asking them if they want to have bit parts because of the things that they've contributed to the fandom.
I didn't know anything about Detours today, and fell down a hole.
A detour down a Detours.
Yeah, I descended into the underworld of Star Wars and learned about what Detours was, which still just boggles my mind that it exists at all. But mostly seeing things that were relevant, tying back to once Clone Wars is done, there's no animated project on the go.
Are they going to release it? Oh my God, I don't even know how to, I mean, it is in the can. They have done it. So could they release it? Yes. I guess we will find out in the next little while if they're like, we have nothing done. Let's turn in our homework from 4 years ago.
Exactly. Also, on the same Tom Root segue.
Yeah. Detour.
Yep. Down a hole. He has some strange credits associated with him. Do you remember that episode of The Flash that segued with Supergirl, where Grant Gustin and the girl who plays Supergirl did a musical episode together where they got trapped in like that alternate timeline, alternate world sort of thing, and had to sing songs and be part of a musical together?
Yeah.
Their big duet number that they sing, the original song that they sing in there about being super friends. Our biggest superpower is that we're super friends. Was written by Tom Root.
Well, it's kind of like finding out that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song is written by Chuck Lorre.
Yes.
It's like that. It's like, do these people just like sweat creativity out of their pores? Just like,
one can only think. But I really like that episode of The Flash where it brought the two of them back together from
Yes.
their Glee days to
So
Flash. Anyway, we'll come back to Star Wars Clone Wars now.
Star Wars Detours. Will we see it? Will we not?
I want to watch the trailer for it though, because I have no idea what it even was.
It's bizarro weird. You're just gonna be like, do we want this? It's weird. Yes.
Well, all we know is that Tom Root will not be back as manager because perhaps now is the best time to do the death count.
Oh, because in the Clone Wars special report, death count is sitting at.
Yep, this is Kyle. I'm flying high over the planet of Onderon right now. The clouds are gray and the skies are blue, but I can tell you this. 4 deaths occurred in this episode in its entirety, and only 4. 3 fighter pilots of the Pikes and 1 Trandoshan manager.
It was a little extreme on the I'd like to see your manager if he ends up being dead.
He was beating her. He was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
She climbed up to the top there, and then she just so neatly and femininely sat before releasing the clip that dropped him to his death.
Yeah.
Leg crossed, head tilted, arm on her hip, clicks the button, down he goes for
Straight
forever.
up murder.
Wow, Rafa, good job.
But they were bad guys, weren't they?
It was him or her. He was going to
certainly.
kill her. In this instance, it's one of those mono, a womano, Trandoshano sort of fight. And if in that case, I don't think that there's any...
I'm happy she didn't kill any of the workers.
No. Yeah, the workers just got bonked on the head.
Yeah.
But I loved the pipe over the helmeted head of the Trandoshan. It just bends the pipe.
They're that thick-skulled. Yeah.
He's literally wearing a helmet.
And then they come back to the planet. No time has passed, hardly at all. This facility must have been very, very close.
Yeah, I think so. As we discussed before and previously, they come back just in time because Ahsoka's been caught.
Yeah.
But not after some weird stuff happens with some hollows.
Yeah, let's talk about Maul.
Yeah.
So
We have to talk about Malo.
Malo?
Mahalo? Mahalo?
Mulholland Drive?
Mahalo.
Mahalo, Maul. So my good friend Katie Pohot Dameron on Twitter is like the biggest Maul
No,
stan.
Hot Poe Dameron, right?
Hot Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
Pohot Dameron?
Hot Poe Dameron?
Pohot Dameron.
Okay.
One of us is right.
Pie Hot Dameron.
Hello, Pie.
I'm Pie.
Hi, Pie. So I stayed up late. I wanted to see the episode just to specifically see if Maul was going to be in it or if it was just going to be some sort of vague reference. And I was not disappointed. At 9 minutes, 40 seconds exactly, we hear his voice. And I tweeted at her and she was like already screaming on the internet. And it's just really, really nice to see when a character that you love actually like is there and you get to experience it and see them. And even though, you know, we know how he ends, we know his whole story, it is still nice to be able to see and get more Maul stories, which is awesome. So I'm very happy for my friend Katie, and I'm very happy for all Maul stans. But
I would really like to see the Robin Sparkles song changed for...
Let's go to the mall. I have to talk a little bit about his outfit.
Okay.
It is very much the Solo outfit, but there's something about his very deep V that literally looks like the Borat swimsuit that is very sexy.
Or the 1980s Vancouver Canucks NHL jersey.
Yeah, like the deep,
Yep.
that deep V,
Yep.
directional in its nature, but then, you know, placed with the hood, right?
I feel like he got out of the shower and he just threw the robe on.
It's a
And
very
he hadn't,
dark
like,
user thing to do. Be
doffed up his
shirtless.
horns.
Yeah.
Okay, how do hollows work?
Okay, so serious question, because like he looks around.
Yeah, he looks around.
I don't understand the science behind hollows. That would, but okay. But first, let's talk about the Force in this.
Yeah.
In that he can sense that she's there.
Yes.
I think it's because he's like consciously concentrating on that, right? Like, absolutely. So that makes sense. Like his consciousness is, but this ties into like the medium is the message, and this is like the medium is is an extension. So Marshall McLuhan, if you've listened to that episode that I did on the medium, the message, but to me, the Force literally is extended through technology that your senses are extended through. So if you're on a holo, we've seen Vader, we've seen Snoke, we've seen the Emperor all be able to interact with the Force in that location. Their senses are extended there through technology and are able to interact with the world. What?
Have you ever seen that video of the Nintendo Wii where they flipped the controllers and then they put the bar on the guy's, like on the top of the guy's glasses? And then when he turns, he actually can look into the TV and it creates like a 3D image for him because he's flipped the sensors on the controller with the thing you put on top. And I felt like that's the case. Like he's just flipped holo technology. And instead of people seeing him, he's seeing people.
I mean, there's like holo projectors project the other person too. But like, I thought they were kind of stationary and like, but my guess is like, it was just him like sensing, and it was just capturing his like facial expressions and him moving and being like, I am mentally there, and thus I can sense that she's over there somewhere. But it's kind of hot. Sorry.
I just liked how many times people said Maul in this episode.
Oh yeah. In case you were wondering, that's Darth Maul.
Not Darth, just Maul.
But we only call him Maul now.
Just Maul.
Just Maul. Yes, no. It was an exceptional scene. You got scared. Sam Witwer did an amazing job of the voice. Good job, Sam Witwer. Really, really awesome. And we genuinely felt like Ahsoka was scared of him, which is
exactly
good to see.
And then Fife,
yes,
brings up the collective.
Yes, which is something that was brought up previously in the Clone Wars when basically Maul decided to make this collective of evil organizations that are basically like underworld organizations, and they all work together for the benefit of Maul.
Yes. I like the Pikes even more now.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Because they're just a pawn?
No, because when they finish that conversation with Mahalo, when they finish that conversation with him, they go to leave. Ahsoka jumps up there. And what does she jump over?
I don't know. What did...
A railing?
Hey, there was a railing!
Yes.
And this was like their spice refining like location. So they care about safety.
Totally.
Just not outside.
No.
Only inside the facility.
That's all they can control, right?
Yeah.
They didn't build the city.
Yeah.
They just built their facility. And they put railings there.
We're very proud of your railings.
I don't know if those railings are important for anything other than for Ahsoka to jump over, to be active in the scene. But nonetheless,
railings.
Thank you.
The more you know about railings.
Yes. And then we learn from Ahsoka that Maul is on Mandalore.
Yes.
Which I think he's just trying to rename to Maldalore. I don't think it's going to work, though.
No.
I think it's closed on holidays. So
it doesn't sound as good.
Fair.
Yeah. It's hard to get people to adopt a new name that's just so close to the old name. Just in general.
Oh, we got things all mixed up. Jumped around a little bit here. We're in scene 8 when Ahsoka stumbles onto Maul. And then it's after that in scene 9 when we're back on the spice planet. They're loading the spice up.
That's okay.
When she finishes him off. But
a Maul trip deserves its own segment.
Rafa says, "See ya, pal." Before she drops the guy. Like, oh my God. And then Ahsoka's stunned. The girls have saved the day. They've gotten the spice.
They come back.
They're like, we got spice to deliver.
He's sad still. Fife is sad.
I don't know. Because he still drops the best line of the entire arc at this point.
Okay.
Your timing is perfect. Is what he says. That then the two girls, they have their little moment together. It's like, you're a Jedi? And she's like, I was trained. I left. And then the two of them at the exact same time say, You can do that?
Yeah.
And then Pike Boss says, how unfortunate that your stupidity is so authentic. Oh, man.
It is a good line.
That's like Avengers bad guy level line of, it's just such a good line.
I'm really into these smart bad guys. Like they're
Yes.
really intelligent.
Oh, I love them so much. They don't succeed because they're not in a position to be able to succeed at the end of the day.
Yeah, like they don't have any might to back up their being smart dudes.
No, they're smart. They're caught in a rock in a hard place. They can't act as they probably need to, smartly or intellectually, because they're trapped by Maul on one side. They would probably just want to dump the three girls, sell their ship. But I'm gonna guess Maul wants the spice more than just money or anything else.
Yeah.
He needs that spice, and that's because we heard already that there was a raid on Coruscant.
Yeah.
By the Jedi.
By the Jedi. Were the Jedi involved? Well, there was no survivors. Then probably.
Oh, they probably were. They would kill everyone. And then, kaboom, everything explodes, just like Ahsoka planned. And
I mean, it was set on a timer, so...
And Fife is literally like, after them, or we'll suffer the consequences. Arm shrug.
Rawr, rawr. It's interesting because, if you fast forward to the future, in Solo, we have that conversation with what's his name?
Paul Bettany?
Yeah, his character.
Yep. Just
Paul brain.
Veiny Paul Bettany.
Yeah. And he's like, we have a tenuous, alliance with the Pikes. So, and we know he's working for Maul by the end of that. So it's like that relationship is still going on, which is really, really interesting, I think. Okay. Yep.
So now we get the ship chase, which means there's only 2 scenes left. And for planetary ship chases, it was kind of just a ho-hum. But I'll tell you one thing, though. We see those 3 women work so well together.
Yes.
They communicate their needs.
This ship chase was actually really, really awesome. And what I appreciated about it so much was them coming to terms with kind of respect. Like Rafa respected Trace, Ahsoka respected Trace, Trace respected Ahsoka respected Rafa. Like there was so much mutual respect in the ship and trust in Trace that she knew what she was doing when it came to her ship, even though she's had 3 seconds of piloting.
So what did you think of Trace's piloting?
Suicidal.
Yeah, it was true to character though, wasn't it? And I'm kind of sad because I think this is the end for the Martez sisters. I don't think we're going to see them in the show any further at this point. What do you think? I
don't think we're going to see them. Although they kept her bike, so maybe she goes to them for help when she's hiding.
Right. Trash bike is still there.
Mm-hmm. So we know that she, from the Ahsoka novelization, she goes through Order 66 on Mandalore. We know that. Mm-hmm. How much of that they're going to change, etc., or adjust, I don't know. But she goes through Order 66 on Mandalore and then goes into hiding. Maybe this is where she goes first to figure out what to do.
Exactly. Yeah. My final thoughts on this are the growth in Rafa was really appealing to me. I thought things were going to go a certain way. When they land, they turn off the ship. Ahsoka's like, well, they're probably not going to come because, you're connected to the Jedi. They probably won't seek reprisal on you here on Coruscant. And they just didn't even say anything. They just got off the ship and walked away. She runs over to catch up to them. And she's like, I can't. And Rafa says, I don't want to hear your complicated backstory.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, damn, this is not going to end friendly. And she says, you're not a Jedi, but you act like one. No. Yeah, she says something along those lines. But she does say, you act like one, or at least how I want them to be. Ugh.
It's such a good line. But it's also, to me, super revolutionary compared to direct messaging that we've had about the Jedi. And yeah, they have dogmatic problems And anyone that says the Jedi are perfect are fooling themselves.
Yep. It made me want to read more about knighthood and the whole knighting underneath the English monarchy, and how knights and knight-errants and hedge knights worked and operated, because once you had that, you almost had a carte blanche to act as you would.
Mm-hmm. It was like a License to Kill in a James Bond kind of sense of the word, yeah.
Also, like, the level of entitlement that they had, and I wonder if we see that from the Martez sisters in a way we've never seen before.
Yeah.
In Star Wars.
We get a lot of that actually in Dooku Jedi Lost by Kevin Scott, the audio-only book audio drama that was produced, especially like how dogmatic they are and the mistakes that the Jedi Council are constantly making. We get a bit of that as well with Master and Apprentice, which was closely linked with Dooku Jedi Lost. It's definitely something that they're starting to tell more stories of in this time period and before. The idea that the Jedi were wrong. Mm-hmm. Not that doesn't come out in the Clone Wars and in the prequel movies. I think that comes out quite heavily, but it's just not, it's done subtly. It's not done directly, and not stating directly, look, what the Jedi are now at their downfall, the Twilight of the Republic, is not what they should be. They don't really state that outright in many of the media productions.
Yeah. It's not something that's been as explored, from my understanding, in canon.
It's really interesting to see that in, compared to bringing back all of these prequel Jedi in The Rise of Skywalker, being like, we're with you, Rey, and we want you to be like us. And it is so different from a storytelling perspective. And I'm really interested to see where they go. Yes. Because I like the complexity of questioning authority. Mm-hmm. All right. Any production thoughts?
Yeah, I have one that's really cool.
I'm excited.
All right. At the very end of the credits.
Yes.
This is the last credit.
Before the secondary languages.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
And if you only saw that, what the main principal language is, and then it would show you the Lucasfilm logo in silver. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm trying to figure out who designed and created the Clone Wars logo.
Oh.
And I can't find this person. So if you are listening and pass that information on to me, because I feel like...
Do you want me to tweet at Phil?
Yeah, let's find out who made this logo, because it is super cool. Also,
he might know.
They changed it.
It's different. Well, they have changed it in the past, because it for Maul episodes, it went red.
Right. No, I'm talking about the actual logo itself is different now.
Oh.
It used to be star at the top, the Clone Wars, Wars at the bottom.
Yeah.
Because the S led in and made all really pretty, right? Well, now it's Star Wars at the top, then Clone Wars, the Clone Wars in the box.
Interesting.
Anyway, Reddit had some thoughts about that, but that's Reddit for you. What I want to talk about is Entertainment Clearances, Inc.
Okay.
Cassandra Barbour and Laura Sevier.
All right.
Who are these people?
I have no idea.
Right. Well, exactly. Rights.
Right.
They do the rights and clearances management for Lucasfilm, for Star Wars, and then like 90 other companies.
Wow.
Entertainment Clearances Inc. does Google, James Bond, Pixar, the National Football League, Coca-Cola, MGM, Amazon, Netflix, and the Olympics.
So they basically
EA
just
Games.
control everything. Okay.
No, it's not a question of controlling everything, but they help a production company manage their rights and their clearances. So if you need all of the contract work that needs to happen and all of the rights that you have to get. So if you wanted to have a Coca-Cola in your movie, a scene with a Coca-Cola, you would need to get the rights to that Coca-Cola. Well, Entertainment Clearances manages all of that, and they do all of it for Disney and Pixar and Lucasfilm. Mm-hmm. So they have been in operations since 1997.
How much clearances are there in an imaginary world?
Well, so you'd think that it's just that you're talking about getting the clearances to use certain things and the rights.
Yeah.
But they then manage and mitigate all of the rights for the actors' contracts and the actors' rights to what they have in the production, or the extras, the music, the stock footage that might come into use, like our logo, the artistic licenses, and then anything that's created externally. So posters, trailers, teasers, broadcasts, rebroadcasts of these things, that's all managed. So all of the contract work, I would think, if you wanted to sum it up into a big portfolio here, all of that contract work is managed by Entertainment Clearances Inc., these two ladies. Now, I'm kind of puzzled because when you look them up, they both have their own companies, and both of them kind of come back to Entertainment Clearances Inc. But Entertainment Clearances Inc. has been around since 1997, has been responsible for all of the animated Star Wars shows. They've been the rights and clearances production people for that and have been recognized on IMDb. But you should check out Cassandra Barbour's IMDb page because it is extensive. Because they have to get named in the credits, right?
Yeah.
They're all, so it just goes to show like contract work. It's not just the graphical work and all the things, but there's all these secondary roles and these support people that are in place to put together a company and a production. And Entertainment Clearances Inc. is doing all that side of it for.
Yeah. Contract management is a massive responsibility.
They are out of California, Long Beach, and there's a couple great websites out there for you if you would if this sort of thing interests you, if this sort of thing, some people want to go write a script or they want to go become a voice actor. There are people out there that just want to write contracts. And if you're one of those sorts of people and want to manage rights and clearances for a company, they might be hiring. So
yeah, go check them out.
Anyway, made me she's been involved with Lucasfilm for so long. If
you're a rules lawyer, you might be a contract manager.
Exactly. I think you should try to find a way to get Cassandra Barbour or Laura Sevier or both on the show and talk to them about their connection.
Busy.
Yeah, that's true. But there aren't really any interviews or any, a lot of the other people that I've found in there, you can find connection pieces. You can see both of their names are in Wikipedia because of their connection to the credits. But what they do and why they do it and how they got to doing it isn't really in the public
documented. Yeah.
So
interesting.
There you go. About 50 employees, and they've been around for 3 decades.
So I don't want to drain this too much, but what did you think of this whole arc? Because it's pretty much wrapping up with her moving on and, the shared enemy, as Bo-Katan says, we get to see her without her helmet on. She looks good.
It's like that little light story in between heavy drama. Because we got we're finding out what happened immediately afterwards, and then where does she go to get to the position where she becomes Fulcrum down the road? And this is one of those formative
moments for her,
pieces for her. I really like it because it hangs together as its own little movie.
Yeah.
You really should just watch this all as one 80-minute movie chunk, 90 minutes or so of movie. Cut those wrappers around it out because I think it just flows from one moment to the next so very well. There are very few characters that you need to really know in order to know where this is going to go as a story.
Yeah.
And I like how the relationships were built and developed. My sadness is that we get 4 episodes of the Martez sisters after having developed them so thoroughly.
They deserve their own anything.
They deserve their own fight on Mandalore.
Yeah. Well, maybe they come and rescue her. That would be cool.
That would be what a fitting title, a very prophetic title for the name of the ship, the Silver Angel.
Yeah.
It has not fulfilled its destiny yet, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Trash Bike is on board, all of those things. I really, really enjoyed this arc and this episode. I think it is some of the awesomest storytelling we've had. I was very, very grumpy to hear all about the changes originally from, kind of what was, in original conception. But in the end, I'm totally happy with the changes. I understand why they made the changes they did. And I am going to miss Rafa and Trace.
But mahalo.
Now, mall time. Let's go to the mall.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go to the mall. Yeah.
Welcome to Maldalore.
Maldalore.
Open later on weekends.
What can you not find at the mall?
Exactly. Currently spider legs, but yeah.
Currently featuring V-neck shirts.
Exactly.
Deep V shirts.
The deepest cut V-neck shirts.
The deepest V shirts.
Yeah.
With hoods. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's got his own fashion company.
I wish one of the Pikes would be like, what was he just getting out of the shower?
Like, what's with the shirt?
Or what is it called in Star Wars? The Fresher?
Yeah. 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 I'm super excited to see Maul. I'm super excited to see the fight scenes because there's supposed to be, some rotocap done by Ray Park. So it'll feel very The Phantom Menace-y.
I'm excited. So
it'll be
excited.
Really good.
It's a great thing to finish and cap it all off on. So
we're going to be moving into episode 709, which will be Old Friends Not Forgotten. Anakin and Obi-Wan must decide whether to help Ahsoka pursue Maul or rescue Palpatine. Dun, dun, dun. Rescue Palpatine from where, you say?
Dooku's got him.
Dooku's got him above the skies of Coruscant. It's literally Revenge of the Sith.
He's even manacled with his hands in front of him. Oh, help me, I'm an old man.
I'm not in control of my own faculties, except, kill him, Anakin. You can't let him escape. I'm wondering how much of a Revenge of the Sith we're going to get to see.
I hope none, because we've already seen that.
Yeah.
But who knows?
We might get to see some of the Jedi that we didn't get to see in Revenge of the Sith die.
I guess, yeah. I'm looking forward to more Mandalorian-related exposition. Maybe we will learn what the way is.
Ooh, like will we have more of the Mandalorian lore in the Siege of Mandalore?
Yes.
That would be like a really nice ad. I think I'm really excited to talk about the Mandalorian culture after this is all done, because right now we don't have a ton of backstory into how they got to where they are. We know they went through the purge.
Yep. Death Watch is gone, though.
Mm-hmm.
Death Watch is over. They have finished.
R.I.P. Jon Favreau's first character. He was pre-Vizsla.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Death Watch is over. I think it'd be called like Life Watch.
Star Piece. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, but it was funny to hear. Like, we've seen the Mandalorians watching people for the entirety of this arc, and they're like, no, we're not watching anymore. We're acting.
Yeah. It felt like an older trope, but it checks out.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm super excited for the last 4 episodes. I can't believe we only have 4 episodes left. The last arc, the Siege of Mandalore, all of that stuff. I'm excited for the sieging part. I'm excited for the lightsabering part. I'm excited for the Anakin and Obi-Wan parts.
Me too.
I miss them.
I'm less excited. I'm more excited about Mandalorian lore.
Mandalorian lore. Mandalorian lore.
Yeah.
he crosses out the man part, writes in his squiggle writing Mandalorian.
All you have to do is remove the D, make it an L.
Yeah.
Flip that N upside down.
Yeah.
Mandalore. Well, I like that.
Mandalore? Anyway. Yeah. We're going to workshop it.
Yes.
And come back to you next week.
Much like a good logo.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And Kyle, where can people find you if they are seeking out more of your antics online?
They can find me online on Twitter at TavernTalesDM, where every Wednesday I release a Dungeons and Dragons actual play podcast.
Yes, you do. And if you like my voice, I'm also on that.
Occasionally, yes.
Sometimes on it.
Most of the time you're there for a few minutes and then you leave without telling anyone to go put a child to bed and come back maybe an hour later.
I'm just letting everybody else shine.
Exactly.
Yes. All right. Take care, and we will be back next week. Thank you for listening to What the Force. I'm Marie-Claire Gould, your host. Our music is orchestral music composed by Christy Carew for What the Force. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/whattheforce. We'd like to thank all our patrons, especially those who love and are obsessed with What the Force. Melody, Night Huntress, In Wild Space, Susan, Jessica, Brad, Anna Perez, Macau Mom, Neil, and James. Make sure you like and subscribe on your podcast app of choice or on YouTube. Leaving a 5-star review on iTunes helps other people find the show. You can connect with us on Twitter at What the Force Show, What the Force Podcast on Facebook, or on our website, whattheforce.ca. We also have a new Discord. Links are available in the liner notes. Feel free to reach out and start a conversation. Cheers.